It's great. This is YouTube, the mighty YouTube. For some reason, I have no idea why Facebook is restricting me. I have no idea why. I know it's the devil. I know it's the dragon. I'm going to use the opportunity to use X, formerly Twitter, and also YouTube. I'm going to try to use both of these mediums tomorrow for church service. I'm going to start at 7:47 and then be done by 5 minutes to 9, okay? So I'm going live here on the mighty YouTube, okay? And here's the message right now. Mother me. We're celebrating, of course, Mother's Day tomorrow, and I want to deal with what the term mother means from a Hebrew Jewish level of understanding. Mother, we get the word matron, or also the word mold from. The mother is a female, is a woman who has entered into motherhood due by her giving birth to children. When you enter into what I call, I have matured to carry a child and really to raise a child. The role of the mother is not supposed to show up until the female has gone through two stages: female birth to 12, womanhood 13 through actually 25, and then marriage probably around 26. You enter from to female to woman to wife to mother. So before you enter into the mothering stage, you are supposed to have graduated from two levels. So when we talk about the role of the mother, that is a very powerful stage in a female's life. We live in a society now where we think the term mother and woman and female is the same level. But I have understood something, that you can actually be born a female and never mature enough to become a woman, and let alone able to mother a child. I found out that sometimes we figure out that our sexual reproduction organs work. That's all we do. We become children carriers and not children raisers. I've seen people or women who have become mothers but don't understand the role of being a mother, which is to mold. It is to form, it is to shape your children into what God called your children to be. And God never intended that the mother would do this outside of the father. So wherever you find the word mother, is always attached to that of a father. That's why the Bible says, obey your parents in the Lord. When you think of Hebrew culture, it is mother and father. Okay? Not two mothers, not two fathers. Let's get the biblical setting right. It is parent. Parents. It's the pair that rents. Male, female, female, male. And all you do is follow the biblical order from Genesis throughout the first 4 books of the Bible. 5 books sets the tone of what God considers a family. Now, America can take and twist and lie, which is not for the false prophet, and bully and try to force, not but the beast, and even stand against Christian values, which is the Antichrist. But I'm here to let you know that the role of a mother is so important to the forming of a nation. These two offices, I call them the role. You know that God has decided not to have children unless some human beings come into agreement. Think about how deep this is. God could have actually came with a system that he didn't have to include you in the birthing process. God could have did it himself. But I have figured something out about God. He has decided not to be a real God unless it includes some human intervention. So when we start talking about, glory be to God, the role of a mother, What we're really saying is, I want God to allow me to enter in motherhood. A woman that has the ability to get pregnant is a complete miracle. A complete miracle. And it's not like you can get pregnant anytime you want. Somebody said, and some doctors, some don't agree, you can only get pregnant between 1 to 3 days out of a month, or 1 to 5. And that sperm got to hit that egg. And I heard Khalil say to me, they have discovered now that even the sperm that reaches the egg only gets to the egg because the egg calls it. That the sperm really picks up the scent, or the egg picks up the scent of the sperm. It's crazy, man, how deep God has made this thing called, for one, to say, I am pregnant. God has a system that he has formed that helps us procreate the planet Earth. Now, America has done its darnest to break that, to twist that, and to fight that. That is why I celebrate Mother's Day. I'm blessed today because there are 3 mothers in my life that I highly respect and highly honor. Of course, my own mother, I won't call her name because she doesn't like me saying her name on Facebook. I call her RM. Thank God I had the best mother in the world, the best. My brothers and I had the best mother. Second mother, of course, is my wife. Third mother is Reverend Mom Collins, the mother of KOM. And those 3, first, second, third base, sets up all the other mothers at home base. Every aunt, that's a mother. Every female, that's a mother connected to KOM. I say happy Mother's Day to all of you. And I want you to know that I honor every mother that takes time out to form and help raise their children. In the urban communities, it's almost a normal thing for a single female to raise kids or your offspring. And that is not God's design. God's purpose by design is that the mother and the father raise the children. That's the purpose by design. But there's a problem with our cosmos. Due to the law of sin and death and the fallen world and satanic forces, there's always a spirit called perversion and twistedness that wants to justify wickedness and try to make it abnormal to say that God considers a family a woman and a man that has decided to get married and didn't have children. So you go from woman and man to get married, husband and wife, and didn't have children, which becomes mother and father. We live in a society now where we just justify everything just because we want to do it, and then make it seem like God says it's okay with him. God does not lower his standards because we live low. God always has a higher standard, even if we don't live up to it. One thing I know about sinning and living wrong, you just got to say it's wrong. I just want to do what I want to do. Just say that. What bothers me when people do it and act like, God told them to do it. And God is, you're justified because God gave you permission to do it. No, just say you sinning and you want to sin. Just say that's what it is. Matter of fact, that's called tempting Christ, to know that it's wrong, and then you say God told you to do it. Stop lying. It's not the truth. It's just that you want to sin. And just say that. I got more respect for people who say that than people who try to do it and then justify saying, God told me to do it. Stop. The role of a mother has been created, formed, and fixed by God himself. God has wired the female anatomy to carry the seed of the husband. And by divine order, God set it up that the husband and the wife would become parents because of the birth of a child. Okay? Now, let me just get the system set first before we start talking about level B, C, D, E, F. The first system is level A. And this is the first system. God intended that a husband and wife would fall in love, spend time together, love each other, Husband is Jesus, and the wife is the body of Christ. The husband is the groom, and the wife is the bride. And God considers this the marriage. Okay? From the marriage, due to koinonia, due to the touch and agreement of the physical act, which we call sex, and God called yada, you can actually form a nation in the wife's belly, which will move her into motherhood. And sometimes that is a female child or a male child. And if you are blessed, you might get 2 at the same time. You might get 3. You might get 4. And due to modern technology and medical breakthrough, you might get 6 if you take a certain type of medication or they do something. But here's the point I'm going to focus on. God wired the female anatomy to carry the image of the husband. Now, McDuffie, what do you mean by carry the image of the husband? When a woman, when a wife is impregnated by her husband, she is carrying the image of her husband in male or female form. So, if my wife is carrying my daughter, then my daughter Micaiah is the female expression of Mike McDuffie. Sounds crazy, right? And Kaya Tawan is the male expression of Jose, who is his physical father, although I raised Tawan since she was 4 years old. Now, before we get into what things are versus what things had to become because of the law of sin and death, let's first get the original order right. And what was the original order? That the same parents would stay married and raise their children as parents, and they would age out and die, and then the cycle continues. But due to the law of sin and death and due to the fallen world, things don't pan out like that. So we got what you call stepfathers, stepmothers. We have someone dies, someone steps in. We got a bunch of families that seem to be broken and shattered, and God sends in a hero. There's many scenarios, and the Bible points out a lot of this. But always keep the proper framework right. God always intended for a father and mother to raise their children. All right. And there's something about the love of a mother that goes far beyond any type of thing I can think of. I tell people all the time, when you spell mother, it is spelled M-O-T-H-E-R, mother. You get the word other. So here is the strength and the weakness of a mother. The strength is she will always other. She'll put her children before herself. That's the role of a mother. The only problem with that, if you always othering, who pours into you? Because God intended that the mother would not other by herself. She will be assisted by her husband, who plays the role as the father. So there's a dichotomy between the role of that man that she married. He plays 2 roles. He is a husband to her, and watch this, and he is a father to the children. And those are 2 different roles. Don't confuse the 2, because you can end up in divorce court. You got to know the difference. When wifey wants wifey duties from her man, she don't want the father. She wants her husband. Okay? When your children want to be spoiled, they don't want a husband, they want daddy. All right? Listen to me. So even though we're talking about the mother, the othering, a father or a husband got to understand that the woman that he has been married to, he got to know, he got to supply both sides. He got to be the loving husband to the wife and the compassionate man to the mother of his children. And sometimes that could be a difficult rope to jump. Because you might think because you take care of the children, mama's all right. And mama's saying, I know you take care of the children, but you're not taking care of wifey duties. I appreciate you being real concerned about the children, but I haven't been dated, I haven't been spoiled. And so if you don't take care of the wife right, it affects the mother right. It affects the mother wrong. All right? Stay with me. I'm trying to set a tone here. So when you meet a mother that is happily married, this helps her in her mothering skills. Are you with me? Now, you can always hear mothers say this, I don't care what my husband do, I don't care what he does, I'm going to take care of my kids. And I don't doubt that she will. And something emotionally that side of the mother, who's a wife, is taken care of. All right, now I'm talking about Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And I'm trying to help us as men understand the role of the mother. And I'm not talking about single mothers. I'm talking about married mothers. You in the same house with your husband, who is daddy to the children, but should be husband to you. You want to see a strong, healthy mother? Look for a strong, romantic, healthy husband, because that's going to enable her to be the best mother that she can be, because there is a natural, innate ability that a mother will sacrifice everything she has that makes her children is okay. But if she's always othering, then she needs some poured into her from her husband. Please don't confuse the role of a mother with the wife. I'm telling you, this is. Let me tell you, man, this is rough. This is why sometimes you can have couples in ministry, and just because your church is growing and you got a growing congregation, while your wife is deteriorating. You can have your children growing up in the house, and the kids look good and going to college and stuff, and then the wife inside the mother is dying. Healthy, strong kids, but a disastrous marriage. And that becomes dangerous. And watch this. What we don't want to say is that your children watches and studies everything that you do, because you really learn more by observation versus what someone says. So when your children are looking at you, whether they're 1 or 2 years old, or whether they're 36 years old, or whether they're 16, 17, they're always observing and watching the behavior between, watch this, father and mother. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you right now, my name is Pastor Michael D. McDuffie. There is, what is going on up here? There is a serious separation in American society when it comes to the biblical construct of the Christian family. And I believe there are some things that we got to get back to our ABCs. And we got to really get back to a point whereas we honestly say to ourselves, have we honored our mothers lately? Do we celebrate them? Do we honor them? Do we lift them up high? All right? Now, I'm not on Father's Day, I'm on Mother's Day. So I'm thinking, what can we do to spoil the mamas? Of course, my mother, Minister J, and Reverend Rosetta Collins. And I put a piece on all of our people, and all those watching here, M318, KOM, find out ways to bless these three individuals. This does not rob you from your own celebration of your own mother. If your mama is still alive, take time out to spoil them, be around them, and give them everything they even ask for. And even for stuff that they don't ask, stay with that mama, because you only get one. Famous words of Dr. Dean Trulea told me that long time ago. And of course, we hear our famous song that's always sung every year. I'll always love my mama. She's my baby girl. You only get one, you only get one. Yeah, that's a classic. It'll never get old because that reminds us of the role that God put in the life of believers. Because we don't really understand, and please get me, we don't really understand the real meaning of when God gives a mother to a family. It's a major thing. I'm going to honestly call mothering one of the top ministries that we overlook. We tend to, can I say it? We tend to overlook that role. And when I look back over my life, and I found out whether it's Jamie mothering or my mother mothering, both of these individuals plays a major role in the development of the nations of the McDuffies, the nations of Tawan and Micaiah, because I saw two family constructs of proper mothering. My mother and Jamie, both strong mothers, fierce for their children, and still are great wives toward their husbands. I'm just saying how it is. So today, when I look at mothers in our urban cities that I'm around, sometimes I'm a little scared, not fearful, a little scared and concerned, because we have abandoned the role of the mother. And crazy thing is, if there's no mother, we already know there's a problem with the father. Every single youth program I go into, because we minister to a lot of the youth who got caught up in some law issues, and I have this thing called point of no return. And our job is to keep young folks from returning to crime. And I get these young people, and every time I get in the room, I ask them where their daddy's at. And man, 70% of the time, they'll say, I don't know who he is, I don't even like him, can't stand him. But then when I say, how about your mother? Man, 90% of the time, their hands go up. Love their mama. But they drive their mama crazy in many ways, stressed out. Don't listen. One guy said to me after I preached, he says, I got to get it right with my mom. So I know I'm stressing her. I'm always in negative activity. She keep telling me to stop doing it. And Reverend Duffy, I'll be honest, man, I don't listen. And he was honest, I don't listen. He said, and I know I'm stressing her. I said, you're going to keep doing that, man, and you're going to regret it. I said, you only get one mother. You're watching the Mighty YouTube, and I am teaching on the subject matter. Please hear me. I'm teaching on the subject matter here on the Mighty YouTube on the power of a mother and the biblical setting of mothering. And I'm trying to show you that, boy, the role of a mother is so important, especially developing a nation. You know, at the end of the day, God wants us to disciple the nations. And I know when you think about discipling, you always think about passing out a tract and someone attend your local church and get baptized in water and join your church and get a box of envelopes, and now you're a member at what's the name's Baptist Church or what's the name Pentecostal Church, and you think you're doing something. Let me take you back a little bit deeper. The first two evangelists on the planet Earth was Adam and his wife, who got the name Eve after the fall. So Adam and the wife, that's the married couple, are supposed to be the parents that's supposed to raise their children in the admonition of the Lord. Parenting as mother and father is so important that it is included in the first 10 commandments. And I'm correct or not, I think it's number 6. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for it is right. And it also contained the promise of living long. So children that rebel against their parents can sometimes have their life short-circuited. Did you read this? Short-circuited. So the role of a mother is so important. The role of mothering, the matron, the forming is so important. I said this before, and I said it many times before. I asked people, who did the children meet first? The mom or the dad? And people that can't stand men, mom. No. The seed comes from the male's semen. So you carry the child in the semen, sperma. And your husband puts the sperma inside of the wife. And when the egg and the sperma touch and agree the way God wanted to, she conceives. And she becomes impregnated with Tawan, my eldest son. And she becomes impregnated with Micaiah. All right? So now we move past just husband and wife. Now we enter into Jamie becomes mom and Micah becomes dad. That's parents. So this is what God says. And watch how I use these words. I need you to disciple the nations. Since you gave birth to the first members of your church, now I want you to form them. Watch this. And I need you to form them and raise them up the way I want you to, because you are called to be my preachers, to form and to construct. Are you with me? All right, raise them up, because you two are the first, watch this, leaders they will meet. So daddy, we need you to daddy them or father them, and we need mother and mom to mother them. And somehow God put this jigsaw puzzle together, and please get me, that connects together. So watch this. So these two coming together will enable you to raise up disciples of the Lord, which means your first ministry is your family. We keep jumping to the local church. The local church makes up the local family. And if we're not learning pastoral skills in the family, forget it. The local church stands no chance. So we gotta go backwards. We gotta get it right in terms of what it means to be a mother in the family. What does it mean to be the father? It's got to be both. And if it's not both, then we're off. We're not operating the way God intended. This is a scary dichotomy in America. Is that we actually think, and please give me when I say we actually think that because we preach well, or we dance well, or we holler well, God is pleased. And God be looking at, have you honored your mother? Mothers, are you mothering properly? Husbands, are you giving the love to your wife so she can mother better because she's being loved as a wife? Because as the mother is loved as a wife, it trickles down to her mothering even better. So when the mother who is married is not being given proper wifey duties, it affects her ability to mother your seed. Don't fool yourself, man. Division in the house have a direct impact on your children. And please, let me just say this, don't inbox me, don't text me, because I'm just telling you, I have to speak some stuff straight across the board. We're not being influenced by people's personal opinion. Because one thing I learned is to teach the word, and I don't care who like it, because it comes to me as well as everybody else. If you readjust the word based on the audience watching you, you're not a good preacher. You have to give it straight, no matter if it cuts you, it cuts everybody else. When I talk about the power of a mother, I mean that, man. The first role of a husband or father of a household is number one, spoil his wife, and then be the protection around your sons and your daughters. That's the first game of life, the family unit. If that is exposed, if that is naked, if that's not covered, then we don't need to go to second base. We need to stop at first base and get that right. I don't care how many times we mess it up. I don't care how many people don't like me saying it. I'm telling you, man, the local church is supposed to be made out of healthy families on first base. You're not supposed to even get to second base unless you touch first base. So I would be figuring out, if I was a local pastor, how can I bring more healing to mothers? There should be programs for mothers, skills for how to become a better mother. What are you missing as a mother? And that goes many ways, because you might be a single mother that's struggling, or you might be a married mother that is struggling, and you might be having a problem mothering because you never know what it means to mother, because you might just prove that your anatomy just pushes out children, but you know nothing about mothering skills. Man, sometimes I'd be my wife would be in a restaurant. If you're looking at some of these mothers, and my wife want to get up and change kids' clothes and make sure their nose is blown, and I'll be like, Jamie, they're not your kids. I said, sit down someplace. But her mind just be moving. I said, oh God. I said, go ahead, talk to him. She said, that girl no good one. That jacket a little bit too hot for that baby. Take that jacket off. That baby gonna get cold. I mean, it's just naturally in some mothers to be concerned about children that's not even their own. And big ups to real mothers, man. Well, we grew up on 23rd Street, man, and it was a village in our block, man. It wasn't just the McDuffie family, it was the Johnson's family, it was the Adams family, it was the Copeland family, it was the Coleman family, it was the Grant family, it was the Richardson family, it was the Haywood family, it was the Briggs family, and it's like we all looked over each other. 23rd Street was really a place of real community, man. I don't know what we got today, boy. I don't even know. We don't even know our next door neighbor. Somebody could be building a bomb next door. We don't even know, man. We don't even know each other like we used to. Man, we had touch football. I mean, it was really a real strong structure of fathering and mothering. It is a complete blessing for a wife to become pregnant. And notice how I'm saying words purposely. I don't say a woman become pregnant. I said it is a complete blessing when a wife becomes pregnant. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, Pastor, suppose you're not married. I know what I'm saying. I know how I'm saying it. I'm saying it the way I want to teach it today. It is a complete blessing when the wife becomes pregnant. You got me? Now, when a woman becomes pregnant, it's a blessing. But when a wife becomes pregnant, it is a complete blessing. One is based on God's mercy, because it's always God's mercy, but it's also a blessing when the wife follows the protocol and gets pregnant the way God wants her to. All right. Now, we don't want to talk about following American culture versus following kingdom culture. But I don't care how you cut it or how you slice it or how you want to deal with it. At the end of the day, right, God has designed the mother to play a major role in the forming and the structuring of the children of the nations. And God never intended for a single mother to raise children. That was not God's original intention. Due to the law of sin and death, due to the spirit of darkness and the fallen world, God said we just got to deal with it. And what your local church is supposed to do is give you the support that you need when stuff falls between the cracks. That's why you got the Word of God, training on Facebook, encouraging parents to fight even when stuff falls between the cracks. And sometimes families don't pan out like you want them to. It don't go the way you plan, and some stuff just fall between the cracks. And I've been around it, so please don't have to Facebook me, inbox me. I know. But I gotta set the framework. God always intended that the mother would be the second role model of the house that impacts those children. Because God set it up that the children would be impacted by the equipping and training of mommy and daddy. Or here's the word, father and mother. And before you become parents, you're supposed to be married, husband and wife first. And quite frankly, you're supposed to enjoy your wife and husband at least 2 or 3 years before you even have children. This is the pattern, not etched so much in stone, but you see between the lines in the biblical setting, because you want to have that time to enjoy each other as couple first. Because the love you experience between husband and wife, that becomes like a platform that's supposed to launch you into the next level of life of becoming parents, which means now the husband says, I want to put my image inside of my wife in male and female form. All right. And so he sleeps with his wife. He gets to know her, yada her, and now she becomes pregnant with the image of her husband. All right. Now this is some deep stuff I'm saying to you, but I'm trying to tell you that's why the family unit is always under assault from Satan. He wants to rob the male of his masculinity, and he wants to twist the female species to take on the form of the male role model. And it's satanic and it is demonic. And just because America receives it and brags about it, it does not get approval from the Word of God. Watching Reverend McDuffie, I'm teaching on YouTube, and I'm continuing to teach on this subject matter. I'm not going to let it go. All right. The power of a mother, the love of a mother. And if you see a mother that's doing her motherly skills and she holding it down, walk up to a mother tomorrow, hug them and say, Happy Mother's Day. And say, I'm proud of you. You know, and this goes to any mother, whether you're married or single or divorced or you're a widow or something happened to you. If you are a mother and you're doing your best to help your children out and you're trying to do all you can, I speak life over you tonight. I speak the glory of God over you. I speak encouragement over you. And I say, Lord God, continue to give you a freshness. If you find yourself been othering all this time and you feel you're worn thin and you're worn out, I pray, may the Lord breathe upon you. And if you are a single mother and you desire to be married again, even though maybe your first marriage didn't work or it fell apart, I prophesy, may the right man find you in Christ, and may he love you and your children like he loved himself. I command that in the name of Jesus. And it is never too late. Don't let anyone feel that you are disqualified and you can't get it done. Don't let folks feel that you're too old, it's impossible. The devil is a liar. God knows exactly how to allow things, how to permit things, and how to initiate things. I'm speaking to mothers on today. May your strength be renewed. May the Lord pour his presence out on you in the name of Jesus. Now, let me give you something else about the power of a mother. And this is, of course, live here, YouTube live, and I'm speaking about the power of a mother. You know, I actually remember when my mother was pregnant with my youngest brother. I remember my mother going into labor. She was in front of the wash machine. And I remember her rubbing her stomach, and I remember we had to get her to the Barnett Hospital on Broadway. I remember. And I remember my youngest brother being born. He had this face in the picture. My youngest brother. I remember. I'm not talking about something I remember. And we don't understand that giving birth to a child is the closest thing to death for a wife pushing out a child. Not just one, but doing it 3 times. Some did it 10 times. And growing up back in the day, some did it 20 times. The anatomy and the strength of a female body is incredible. And I think we overlook the role of a mother because she is emotionally and tied to a certain love for her kids that goes beyond what you could ever think, dream, or imagine. Man, sometimes, and this is just what I've experienced in American culture, I watch a father die, and I've seen brothers take it like a man and hit it. But when mom dies, boy, I've seen men just break, cry over the casket, fall on the floor. I was like, Dad, they ain't do it for their father like that. But nothing but ain't nothing like mama. There ain't nothing like mama. And I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, there's a love that a mother, my God, has for her children. Every time you see NFL football players and the camera go on people, they go, hey mom, hey mom. I have not seen a clip yet where someone said, what's up, Dad? It's always mom. It's always mom. It's always mom. I did a whole, like close to 6 months on the movie called The Matrix. And many of those who was with me, Mighty Sons of God Church, when The Matrix first came out in 1990, 1991, we all went to the movies on Route 4, when the movie theater was on Route 4, right on Route 4, and that street, right? There was a small theater. And we took the whole church, because I would always do OSI. I took churches to the movies, and we used that as part of my sermon and training. And Keanu Reeves, of course, plays Neo, and the guy called him Mr. Anderson. That whole movie is about a woman getting pregnant. The whole movie is about a wife getting pregnant, because they use a lot of biblical references to Neo going into the belly, pregnant again, going back like John chapter 3, and he gets born again. He enters into what we call the real world, because the world he was living was really the Matrix, the wrong world. And so Morpheus brings him into what the real world was, and that the world he was living in was controlled by robots, which were really demons. But here's the thing I thought was crazy, right? And I did a whole book on this, and I once I get this 177 done, I'm going to be done with the Matrix of Light, and I'm going to talk about spiritual pregnancy. And I figured some out, man, that if something is wrong with the mother genetically, or something is wrong with the cellular structure of a mother, or some type of sickness and disease can sometimes be passed down from the mother to the embryo and can affect the child. Here is the overarching principle, all right? More than likely, whatever happens to the mother, if the child is inside the mother, the child will suffer because the mother suffers. So the trauma and the stuff that goes on in the mother is sometimes, and a lot of times, transferred over to the child that she's carrying. Also, whatever the mother eats or drinks, or stress level, and what she gives herself, and what he sucks on, all right, it affects the child. So really, sometimes it is better, watch this, to figure out what's going on with the spiritual mothers so we can heal the nation. Now, I'm dealing with the Matrix movie because in the movie, when they are training Neo to go back into the Matrix to fight the robots, they got to download the stuff into his mind. And they call that, he was in the wrong world. The word matrix means mother and matron. And as a matter of fact, in Hebrew culture, when the son is born first, he's called the matrix. That's the one that opens the womb of the mother, which means he sets the tone, or he sets the race, or sets the family for the future children. So when you see Reuben, who was the eldest brother to Joseph, Reuben supposed to have been the matrix to set the tone for the family. But Reuben does not operate in the role of the eldest son. He was punked. He didn't do what God called him. And so Joseph, who was next to the youngest, the 11th son, ended up being the chosen one. See, you could be born in a certain position and not fulfill the position, and you abdicate it, and God will pick somebody else. But here's the point I want to focus on. There was a scene in the Matrix movie where Neo is being downloaded with the ability to fight like Bruce Lee. And they drill all these things into his mind to be a kung fu star, a karate star, karate, judo. And man, he's fighting Morpheus and practicing because the guy is downloading this into his spirit. Now, let me take it to the biblical level. More than likely, the children in our community are a major reflection of the type of mothering and fathering they have been getting, or the lack thereof. Listen to me. I'm not giving you stuff to make you feel good. I'm 45 minutes in. We've done it 15 minutes, one whole hour. And I'm not on Facebook Live because they restricted me for 20 hours. I don't even know why. They just decided to do it. They've been messing with my page lately. So I'm going to be expanded into YouTube more. I'll be using Twitter, which is now X. Tomorrow I'm Beyond Church at 7:47, done at 5 minutes to 9. And I'm just going to do what I got to do. And we're going to begin to expand our market. I'm going to be using Zoom more. I'm going to move into X. And I think the word I talked about the change of infrastructure, I'm going through a change too. So I'm not going to allow Facebook to dominate me. I'm just telling you right now. Anyway, back to, this is the Mighty YouTube. I'm doing a lesson now on the power of a mother. And I'm setting the tone for the week, and happy Mother's Day. But here's the point I'm making. I have met children in my community who I used to say, if the father can't do it right, at least the mother can mother the children right. But what happens when the mother is just as bad as the father? And now this child don't have any covering where it comes to his mother or his father. So now his grandmama is trying to do it, his aunt trying to do it, his uncle trying to do it. And let me tell you something, and there are some that do it. But let me just be honest with you. I have seen some children, and I said to myself, they in trouble. I see certain things, and I'm already saying they have no parameters. They have no boundaries, you know? And that first shield of defense is supposed to have been their mommy and their daddy. And if you don't even have a daddy, at least a strong mommy. But what happens when mama go out getting her nails, and mama hanging out at the club, and mama getting high, and mama doing the stuff that has a trickle down the face to the kids, and so they feel naked, you know? That's when you find a mother doing it right. Celebrate them. Give them what they need. Brag about them. Boast about them. Lift them up. Don't leave out your mamas. I'm not dealing with daddies. I'm just mentioning it because the power of a mother is so important in our communities. Glory be to God. I see the role of a mother is that which train up folks like Neo, who want to train her how to be tough in the fight. So I found out that when a mother is carrying a child, whatever that mother eats, the child eats. Whatever that mother drinks, the child drinks. I was saying to Jamie the other day that my daughter Micaiah is a very strong young lady, physically. Like, she's big boned and she's very strong. And very strong. And so humble and so like very sensitive, but very strong. Strong, like physically. And then I thought about it that I used to give Jamie a certain type of herbs that she would take that I think helped her to become pregnant. And that was noni juice. Am I pushing noni? I'm just trying to. And she had a problem getting pregnant because something in her body was tilted, and it made it difficult for her to get pregnant. And although I anointed her and spoke and prophesied, I always use natural things too. And I did the research on noni juice. She was on noni juice constantly, consistently. And of course, you know what happened. Jamie ended up getting pregnant with Micaiah. And And I believe that the stuff she took in that noni juice, man, and I took it too, helped her to get pregnant, but I think it also helped to form Micaiah in the womb. And Micaiah's body is such a strong physical species. You are what you eat. And whatever the mother was consuming, it was going directly into Micaiah. Not only that, while Jamie was pregnant, I would speak to Micaiah in the womb. I would talk to Micaiah before Micaiah was even in the womb. We had her name, her middle name, and we would talk to her all the time. I was feeding. And then when she would go to sleep, she put her hands on her. She was mothering Micaiah before Micaiah came outside of her. Now watch how deep this is. I put Micaiah inside of Jamie. And Jamie carries Micaiah, who is the female expression of Michael. My. So when God speaks to me about raising up a godly nation, he is saying, how well are you fathering and mothering your nation? That's why when you take care of the wife and take care of the mother, you automatically take care of the children. So if there's a children problem, there's a mothering problem. There's a fathering problem. Do you know that the deacons and the elders in your church are supposed to become cosmic parents to children whose mothers and fathers have fallen between the crack? Or the mother and father that says, Pastor Mike, I got 5 baby daddies. And for the first time, I am completely exhausted and I need some help. Is there any brothers in the church that can deal with my 14-year-old son hanging out in the streets? I still got a 4-year-old. I need help. And your local church that's called to this, or church not called the same thing, have their members and do so. That church have to train and equip the deacons or the male role models to take on the role of cosmic mothers and fathers who step into the role as a godfather or a godmother. Man, there are so many things I can teach you today about the role of the mother. And I was blessed growing up because I had the best mother in the world. She's still alive, and I pray for her all the time. And she's one of the most humblest ladies you ever want to meet. Never wants her name mentioned. She don't even like when I say she's the best mother in the world. She just, well, everybody's a good mother. My mother's always congratulatory. It's hard for a mother to receive compliments. She never receive compliments. If I say to her, Mom, you're the best mother in the world, I don't say that, Mike. You make folks feel bad. Don't say that. My mother even like compliments. But I feel like I had the best mother in the world. My mother had the ability to make all of us feel like we was the most loved. You know, you give it to mother by herself, she'll say, you know what, you're my favorite son. I was like, oh, thank you, Mom, you're my favorite son. I like that. Thank you, Mom, I'm your favorite son. And then you're hanging out with your brother, you playing football, baseball, you know, Mom said I was her favorite. And then my brother would say, well, she told me the same thing. And another person, she told me the same thing. And then we get her in the corner and say, Mom, who your favorite son? She said, all y'all my favorite sons, baby. And we love her so much. Like, okay, Mom. See, I told you. Oh my God. Man, we were spoiled growing up. Because one thing our mother made us feel like that we had no need for nothing. Our mothers mothered us so well, man. We even know we was even poor. We didn't know we was poor. You know? And even after my father and mother paid off the house, my father worked the job at 7. I'm like 30 years straight. I don't think he took one day off of work. I wouldn't know. He was a working father, working mom. I mean, we was just completely spoiled, man. And every time Christmas came, man, we had gifts under the tree. We was able to play baseball, man. We were some spoiled McDuffies. And man, I thank God for the parents God gave me. Golly. I was like, Lord have mercy. Now when I look back, what I had compared to what kids have today, I'd be like, oh God, thank God for my mother. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here's a testimony, right? In 1982, I'll say 83, I was a very depressed young man. Something had happened to me. I'm not sharing it again. And I was so sad. And back then, I didn't know it was depression. I couldn't shake it. I just could not shake it. And I was saved. I gave my life to the Lord in between 80 and 81. I love the Lord, but I was going through growth pain spiritually. I was going through some loss of a situation, and I couldn't shake it. I just couldn't shake it. And my younger brother was still in high school. My elder brother went off to college, and I was in Bible school. I'll never forget this. I was in Bible school in Island, New Jersey, Acts. And I was so depressed, man. I was so depressed. Oh, I was so depressed. But I believed Jesus, and I remember there was ladies that come pick me up for Bible school, pick up in their car that wouldn't work, and she'd pray over the motor like I did to get it started. She stopped. I said, "Come on, Mike, get in this car. We're going to Bible school." I said, "How do you feel like going?" She said, "Come on, let's go. Get in the car. We gotta go." She would say, "We're gonna be like Fred Price. Come on, we gotta go." I said, "Okay." Get me in the car and take me to Acts Bible School. Man, I wish I really meet this lady again. Boy, she was such a determined lady. She wouldn't take no from me. And she would take me to Bible school. We went through the whole Bible year. I got through, and I couldn't even pay the bill for the school. And Acts still let me stay in the class. And I'll never forget, it was time to graduate from the Bible school. And I just knew nobody was coming to my graduation. I just knew it. And lo and behold, in the back of the room, I saw my mother walk in. Boy, I had to try to hide my tears. I was crying like a baby. I was like a full-grown man weeping because my mother came to the back door to watch me graduate from the School of Acts Bible School in Edison, New Jersey, where Pastor David DeMola used to be the pastor. He passed away, they got a new pastor. But I graduated. It was my first Bible school I graduated. It had to be 1983, maybe 1982, maybe 83. And I was fighting depression. Do you know when my mother came to that back door, boy, I was like feeling like, I said, "Mom, you came." She said, "Yes, I made it." I was so soaked. I was so amped. My mother came. You don't know the power of mother. Let me tell y'all something. KOM, Mighty Sons of God Church, M318, all my volunteers, shout out to all you mothers. I'm not calling your names out. I want you to know I appreciate you, a mother and your children. And never give up on your children. I don't care what they've been through, what they do. Keep praying and keep believing. I want you to know if no one honors you as a mother, I'm honoring you today and saying Happy Mother's Day. We got great things to do, but to let no one make you feel bad. If you had those kids, God allow you to have them, and you got the power to be the greatest blessing to your generation. I love you. Cash App, $, Pastor Michael 7. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning at 7:47. I'm going to be on YouTube and also on X, formerly known as Twitter. Facebook blocked me tomorrow. Don't even know why, but the devil is a liar. He's defeated. I got to go. Love you. $, Pastor Michael 7. Power of a mother.